Now, your First Defense Forecast with Dakota Hunter.
And happy Friday to you. Thank you for logging on to WNYNewsNow.com for checking out your First Defense Forecast. I'm Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter. Let's break down your forecast for this Friday. Now, it's going to be pretty much wet throughout the early morning, throughout the early day today, but then the clouds will start to break and will lead to some partial sunshine throughout the day. A temp range today will be around 53 degrees near the immediate Lake Erie shoreline, going to 70 inland with a southwest wind of around 5 to 10 miles per hour. So make sure you enjoy it because, things change going into the weekend. Now we got to talk about Saturday's mess. Now the National Weather Service has issued a winter weather advisory for the Niagara Frontier. That's all these counties here shaded in purple. This starts tomorrow and lasts until 10 a.m. on Sunday. And this is for the potential with that stalled front that I've been talking about. It's going to usher in colder air and throw some freezing rain our direction. The big questions is, where's that freezing rain going to be, and are we going to add some more sleet into the mix that may keep down ice accumulations? But let's talk about everything that we know so far. So for today, it'll be around 60 to 70 degrees in most areas for today. Very warm today, so make sure you get out and enjoy it. But tomorrow starts this big mess. Now the front that I was talking about is going to stall in the southern tier. That's going to be the dividing line between the warmer air and then the colder air. And then it's basically going to be a battle of the seasons tomorrow. So let's take a look at that map, and we'll show you here. This is that front that's going to stall pretty much near the southern tier. Again, with that southerly wind, that's going to keep the southern tier in the 60s early on Saturday, and then there's this colder air coming in from Canada that's going to be 30s and freezing rain to the north. Now I said early for the southern tier because what is likely going to happen here is that this front is going to start to erode throughout the day on Saturday, and that's going to allow some of this colder air to start coming down into the southern tier. Now if that happens, we do have to increase the chances for us down in our direction to see some freezing rain, but the heaviest amounts of the freezing rain is going to be northward. Here's one of the computer models. This is just one model suggestion here, and now anything over a quarter of an inch of ice is significant because that's when it starts to weigh down trees and power lines. So you can see here the model is spitting out totals over a half an inch for most areas around Buffalo. Now the National Weather Service is on the fence if that they're going to up they're going to up that advisory to a ice storm warning. And again, the criteria for an ice storm warning is generally around half an inch of ice. So it's still debatable if that they're going to up that or not. It's a possibility, but it's not definite at this point. And again, if we see freezing rain down in our direction, probably around 1/10 of an inch. It's not going to be significant, but it's going to be enough to slicken up the roadways for Saturday. That's pretty much Saturday night going into Sunday morning. We're getting a better handle on the time frame on this. And then once we're done with that mess, we've got possible flooding rains on Sunday as well. Several rounds of rain will come our way for Sunday, and this is just one of the computer model output of rainfall totals, probably around 2 to 3 inches of rainfall across western New York on Sunday. So flooding rain Sunday, then we've got this whole mess of the freezing rain. Boy, it's just going to be a messy, busy weekend. 69 will be our high for today. We bottomed out at 51 degrees, not too far off from our averages, and we picked up 0.16 inches of rain yesterday. That brings our yearly total to just a little over 11 inches. Now, since you know all that, we got to time it out so you know what to expect here. So for today, nothing really. If we do see any rain, it's going to be Buffalo northward. It's going to be dry for the afternoon down here. Then as we go throughout the night, peek up here behind the banner, you can see this pink and red line. Now the red color is sleet. The pink is actually the mix. And this is what we got to keep an eye on, is how much sleet are we going to add into this. If we see more sleet, that's going to hold down the ice accumulations. But if this is all freezing rain, that's going to be an issue because this is going to be a prolonged period. And again, that one model that I showed you earlier suggested all freezing rain around Buffalo Metro. And if that's the case, that's going to be a significant icing accumulation. And what we have to look at is how much sleet is going to get mixed into this. You can see sleet will come our way for the southern tier, and then the freezing rain will continue in the Buffalo Metro going out toward Rochester. And then this is throughout the day on Saturday. You can see we're starting to get into some of this sleet down here in our direction. And again, this is the reason why we think the ice totals will be held down in our direction, is because there's going to be sleet mixing in, which will hold down the ice accumulation, but it's going to be all freezing rain to the north. And then the freezing rain continues throughout the day on Saturday going into Saturday Saturday night, and then going into early Sunday morning, the ice will just continue to accumulate. And again, it could be significant with a quarter to over half an inch of rain. So, man, it's going to be a messy, slippery weekend. There's the future for you, and you can see 67 on Sunday. We warm back up into the 60s, but there's that flooding rain potential with probably around 2 to 3 inches of rain accumulation. We're going to have to keep an eye on that. And then the temperatures fall down a cliff for early next week. We go back into the 40s and the 30s, and it's going to be an up-down pattern probably throughout much of next week and probably going into next week too. It's going to be an uphill battle for temperatures.